and welcome all of you here this morning for our first of our live industry chats for Building Trades Week. Thank you so much for being here for this industry chat. I'm Kate Lee. I'm the Executive Director of Education and Workforce at the South Bend Regional Chamber. And we are so happy on behalf of me, Allison Herzig, and our friends at the Greater Niles Chamber of Commerce and Michigan Works. Thanks for being a part of this, students and our speakers. Quick housekeeping, all attendees are muted, but we still want to hear from you. Please use the Q&A function or the chat to ask any questions or share comments. This session is scheduled for 30 minutes. So ask your questions early and often, and we'll get them to our speakers. I want to thank our sponsors for Building Trades Week 2022, including our premier sponsor, St. Joe Valley Building Trades, and our presenting sponsors, MACIAF, NECA, and Aubon Marsh. Please visit the Building Trades Week landing page if you haven't already to learn more about our sponsors, businesses, and the wide variety of careers available in building trades. Right now, we're excited to welcome Shawn O'Brien, Executive Director of MACIAF, which is the Michiana Area Construction Industry Advancement Fund, say that 5 times fast, and Scott Calentine, representative for the IKORCC, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio Regional Council of Carpenters. Again, there will be maybe we should make that as some kind of a quiz. And he's also the financial secretary and treasurer for the local 413. This session will be a broad overview of the construction industry and an in-depth discussion about careers in carpentry and apprenticeship program. So I just see Shawn for the first time. Shawn just appeared on my screen. So there he is. So I'm going to jump in and start asking questions. Again, a reminder to everyone who's out there in Cyberland, if you do have questions, drop those in and to the chat or use the Q&A and let us know that, and we will ask those questions. So I am going to kick off with Shawn, and I'm going to ask, can you share with the students who are on here today what is happening in the construction industry today?
Construction is so ready to take off. It has been a difficult couple of years for a lot of businesses, construction included. There's been a bit of a pause because of the pandemic, but it is ready to go. There's a ton of stimulus money, recovery money that's come from our federal government, from our state government, things that are really ready to make projects happen that have been sitting on the sidelines for a little bit. So that's the state of construction. It's busting, it's ready to go, and we need help.
And we also, and if students are paying attention to the news, they know that the government just passed legislation to improve our roads, ports, and more. So what do you think the impact will be on the future of the construction industry and the increased need for tradespeople, what that'll look like, especially here in our region?
Is that still to me?
Yeah. Oh, that's still to you, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. So yes, absolutely. There's a number of programs, not just the infrastructure bill, but there's a bunch of other things that have provided the financing to projects. But there's no doubt infrastructure is a big need in this country, locally as well. There will be a lot of work from that. There's a need. So as all of this construction happens, whether it's buildings and vertical construction as we refer to it, or road work and infrastructure, bridges, whatever it is, there is a need. The contractors themselves need people. They need them in the field to build stuff. They need them in the office to help manage and lead projects, all the way around. So I think we'll see in the next couple of years in our area quite a bit of construction, more than you've seen for the last couple of years, for sure.
Excellent. So I'm going to hop over to you, Scott. Tell us real quick about your career pathway, like your education and training, and how you ended up with all these letters after your name and where you are today.
Okay, well, I'll start by telling you a little bit about myself. I'm a representative with the Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio Regional Council of Carpenters. I work out of the Warsaw hub, which services the 20 counties northeast Indiana. I spend half my time in Warsaw and half in South Bend. My history started out with my family. Part of them were residential home builders, and the other half of my family was in the union. So I have a background with my family for as far back as I can remember, my great-grandfather being a carpenter. So I had a little bit of education, around the house projects and stuff coming up. I started shortly after high school building homes with my cousins. We built a lot of homes in Granger, Indiana. And then I was going to school for heating and air conditioning for a little while. Met some representatives that came out to some of the homes and spoke with me about the union. Talked to some of my union family members about their careers and stuff like that, seeing how well they did. And came down to the hall here in South Bend and spoke with one of the representatives and chose to sign up in an apprenticeship. And 26 years later, I'm here as a representative for South Bend, helping young people start careers, helping contractors develop the manpower they need for the future, and dealing with politicians and schools and everybody to try to make those careers happen.
Awesome, thank you. So, so I'm gonna go backwards on your timeline of your career because we're talking to a lot of high school students here. So when you first started out, what was a typical day like? Think back to, I don't know, 18, 19, 20-year-old Scott, and what would a typical day be like?
A typical day in carpentry and construction usually starts out about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. You can work 8 to 10 hours a day. There's various avenues to this career, which I didn't know when I first started out. Carpenters are just not somebody that just swings a hammer. I mean, you can, do flooring, you can do scaffolding, you can work on bridges and all various types of things. There's schools and hospitals and everything that we work in. So a lot of the work just depends on what area you like. Building homes is a very rewarding career. I mean, we do some of that work in apartment buildings. You get to see things go up a little bit quicker. Hospitals and schools, it's nice because you can be on that project for a long period of time and stay working, building wonderful things for your community, for schools and healthcare systems. A lot of it growing up, you learn a lot of different things about the trade. The cool thing about it is it's always changing. There's always new things to learn. There's always a wide variety of things that you can get into. And this career is not just limited to guys. I mean, we have lots of women and minorities in our organization and take pride in helping them develop their careers as well. So
Excellent.
it's good.
So what was your first job? How old were you? And what did it teach you that you use still today?
My first job, I was when I was in high school. I worked at Little Caesars Pizza. So that takes some team building. Obviously, there was a little bit of organizing with everybody having their own little jobs to do, whether it was make the dough or make the pizzas or run the cash register. So that was a little bit of teamwork involved there. Plus, you're also dealing with customers. So that taught me a little bit about how it is to work in a group. That's how construction is. You work in teams to create end project. You got a goal to put a building up or build a house or to get scaffolding built or to get this bridge repaired. So a lot of it's learning how to deal with other people and come together to have a successful project in the end.
And that kind of leads into a question that just got dropped into the chat, which is, can you explain a little more about what a union is?
Okay, so the Carpenters Union itself has been in existence for over 140 years. So we've been around a long time. We offer employment services through our contractors. We represent our members. We educate our members through apprenticeship school that's 4 years. You go 4 weeks a year to our training center in Warsaw, or depending on what area you're in. And there's continued education for our journeymen as well, classes they can take on the new things that are coming up and that develop over time to keep our members abreast of the new things in the industry. So there's always opportunity to learn. The union represents a large group of guys here in South Bend. I believe we are around 680 members. In the Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio Regional Council, I believe we're around 35,000 members. So we're a large organization that represents contractors and members that build your schools, hospitals, and maintain a lot of your roads and stuff in our community.
Awesome. Shawn, do you want to talk a little bit more, because MACIAF represents multiple unions as members. Want to talk a little bit more about just the wide variety of unions we have in our community and how students could connect with those?
So the construction trades, I think there's 16 or 17 construction trade unions that are represented in our area. The carpenters, bricklayers, sheet metal workers, iron workers, operating engineers, laborers. I'm going to leave some out, so I apologize to those that don't get named. But Scott mentioned it takes a team to build a building. It takes a team. It takes the office people. It takes all of those different trades in the field, multiple members. We like to tell a story. Notre Dame recently built the Crossroads project, the buildings that surround the stadium there and connected. And at high points of that project, they had over 1,000 workers a day working on that piece. That's a lot of teamwork. That's a lot of guys working in the same space, climbing over each other occasionally, trying to get stuff done. So it's really important that when you get involved in the trades, that you pick your pathway. You pick the construction trade that looks like the thing that you want to do. Do you want to work inside? Do you want to work outside? Do you want to create stuff? Do you want to help build walls? I mean, the bricklayers, great example. So there's a lot of different opportunities there. The office, all of our contractors need people in the office to do project management, to do cost estimating, to literally answer the phones and run prints and operate building information modeling and CAD systems. And there's a need for all of it right now.
Awesome. So we did have a question, and I'm not sure which one wants to take this. What are some of the requirements and prerequisites to joining a union? Like, how do you get there? If you have a goal to do that.
Through the Carpenters Union, we do have career connections where we kind of partner with the schools, help them with providing some of the literature and stuff like that. The schools, a lot of them have building trades programs that kids can get in their junior and senior years. There's opportunities for pre-apprenticeships where someone who's interested in it can sign up for a pre-apprenticeship and start working with some of our contractors in the summertime and work towards getting in an apprenticeship program. Students that are in the building trades classes in school get kind of fast-paced into our apprenticeship program. They get a little bit of preferential treatment. So a good start would be to hit your mathematics and stuff in school, just to ask your counselors and stuff about getting involved in building trade classes at your school, and we can help start that career path for you.
So do you have to be 18 before you can do that? And
I believe that we can, with certain permission slips and stuff through parents, we can start them like their junior year in the summertime. We do have some seal programs with the state that point out guidelines on how a student can work. And so they're eligible. A lot of guys will start, their junior summer, as a pre-apprenticeship. And then, after they graduate their senior year, they'll roll right into the apprenticeship program.
excellent. And Shawn, anything with the other specialty areas?
So the apprenticeships are the best way to get into a building trade is to make a phone call, send an email, just reach out to somebody, reach out to me, reach out to Scott, reach out to the chamber, reach out to the St. Joseph Valley Building Trades Council. And just making that contact, we can all direct you to where you might need or want to go. If you reach out to a contractor and they have an opening in a certain trade, they will maybe direct you back to the union in that particular trade. But the idea of apprenticeship is you join a trade, you join the Carpenters, you join their apprenticeship program if they accept you into that, and you are then working and training and learning all at the same time. The beauty of working is getting paid. So you're out there doing a job, doing the real thing, swinging a hammer, literally, if that's what you choose with the Carpenters. And most of the trades are the same way. There's a pathway for you to enter in, get the job, start in the apprenticeship program, and within a few years, graduate to become a full journeyman. And with that, you can make a wonderful career out of a construction field job. It's the idea of health insurance and and retirement accounts are a little bit lost on 18-year-olds, but those are things that really matter. It is a lifelong career. It's not just summers and keeping busy until you find something else.
That's excellent. And we did have a note in the chat from Chris Elmerick, who's one of our building trades teachers, to make sure students know that they can talk to their instructors too about those alternatives. Your building trades instructors they keep their eye on this. They have great partners in the different areas and can really connect you with businesses and the unions as well. So, and also the building trades pathways pages that are out there on the landing page for you students. If you go explore, we have all the different specialties represented out there. So it's just amazing to see what the demand is, the salaries you can make, and the kind of training and requirements that are necessary. So I'd encourage you to explore that. So where am I going to go with this? I'm going to go with Shawn. What do you see as other jobs growing overall in the construction industry? And how is technology impacting construction trades?
Technology, as it is in everything, is growing in construction. I think of the operating engineers who drive heavy equipment and grade dirt and for roads and building project sites, and they actually have GPS-driven computer systems that run some of their dozers and some of the other equipment out there. I mentioned BIM earlier. BIM is an acronym for Building Information Modeling. That is the future, or I guess the present really, of CAD, computer assisted design work. And you think buildings at Notre Dame are a great example. Many of the buildings are constructed in BIM. There's full three-dimensional models of the buildings that are built to show the technology and the interactions of the materials on the buildings to avoid some of the collisions of systems that you get when you get a lot of stuff packed in a little building. And people have to run all of that. I was out at Notre Dame doing the Crossroads. They had a trailer set up out in the parking lot with a gigantic TV screen that ran the BIM system, and they would hold meetings in this trailer to discuss collisions of sprinkler piping and ductwork and wiring and who's going to go first in this little area. And they could point to actual visualizations, 3D models of all of that stuff in the field. There is some of BIM that is now being carried out to where a guy's going to go out in the field, or a girl, with a tablet and not even have a printed drawing. You won't even work from paper any longer. You're working from these BIM tablets. There's just technology in construction has lagged a little bit compared to other industries, but it's definitely there. And as the majority of, I shouldn't say majority, but a large part of the workforce is starting to age out and toward retirement, there is a great need for younger people to come in with the knowledge of how to use all of this tech.
Excellent. So Scott, on the kind of practitioner side for you, and as far as carpentry, do you see technology impacting what you do?
Yes, and I'll just highlight a little bit on what Shawn had mentioned. You know, part of the systems that we use here and with the Carpenters is a system called Total Station. It's set up with lasers and stuff like that that works with BIM. That helps us lay out the building, the foundation and everything. Procore is a system that we use with the tablets and that, where you can pull the prints up and all the changes and everything right there on the field on a tablet. So that technology is really developing. Like you said, you can go walk into the trailer, look at a TV screen, pull up a little closet or whatever that has pipes running in it. And the Total Station system, we can go through a building and lay out every piece of all thread, every hanger for every pipe, for every light, for anything, and know that those things aren't going to collide with each other. And it eliminates a lot of the problems that we run into in the field in the past. You know, in my career, you know, we went from using what was called a water level with colored water to find level for ceilings and stuff in buildings. And I watched the development of lasers. Our first laser when I was an apprentice was the size of a Volkswagen, you know, that probably weighed 50 pounds that we had to chain to the wall. But I mean, now you got little pocket lasers that you could set up to plumb a wall, and the technology and the advancements has just made everything a lot better and easier for guys and gals to put things together out there in the field. And honestly, some of us older guys aren't hip on all that technology. So the young guys and gals coming out of school are already experienced with the computers and the technology, and they're ready to roll right into these jobs.
So although technology is going to be an important part, and you have to understand probably the basics of that in a lot of different roles, is there still a way for somebody who's not super comfortable with technology? You mentioned some of the older folks who aren't quite ready to make that adjustment. I'll tell you, I worked in healthcare, and when the hospital went to electronic medical records, there's a lot of people in a lot of different fields who are not comfortable with technology. So it's not, it's kind of, it can be really scary because it's changing the way you do things. So if there are students who aren't comfortable with technology, which seems almost foreign in the world that we live in now, would they be able to like come into this and not necessarily start with technology skills, but build into those through their apprenticeship or through their work experience?
Sure. Most of it's still hands-on work. I mean, and really I have 4 children of my own, and watching them with video games and their phones and their tablets, it's not that much of a learning curve for them. When they go through an apprenticeship, we have all those classes set up. They're going to learn that stuff as they go. It starts out pretty simple. We add all these things into it, give them all the opportunities to learn it in class and go out in the field and actually put it into action. So the school and the training center really do a great job in incorporating all that into the learning for the apprentices.
It feels like that kind of technology will really help with communication, because you think about the various specialty areas that have to come together, like you've talked about building a team to actually get a building constructed. And I know sometimes the communication between, like, we did a house renovation, and just the communication between electricians, plumbers, and plasterers was like, questionable. But using technology could be a really great time saver. And so you can know when people are doing what, when, to make it easier, I would think. Am I right about that?
Definitely.
Is that helpful?
Let me just throw something out. There are just something as simple as an app to track your time that you work during the course of a day. That's something that didn't exist a few years ago. You literally had time cards. You were writing things down on paper, and it's the simplest of tools, but it is efficient. It does help tremendously to just be able to take your phone and say, oh, well, it's this and that, and here's what I did today, and move on. And that is absolutely second nature to an 18-year-old graduating from high school. They don't even have to think about that, to where we go, wow, isn't this amazing? Look at this phone thing that I can do. So there's a ton of it out there. The thing, Kate, that you've come to a couple of times is that there are so many different pathways to so many different career types in construction. If you're good with tech, do something with tech. If you're great with your hands, do something with your hands. If you're really good in the office with numbers, go in the office. There's an infinite pathway of things that you can do in construction. And we've got large hospital projects. We've got all the roadway projects that you alluded to with infrastructure. We've got, trying to think of some of the things that are coming up. There is basically a crush of work in the next few years, especially, that's going to hit the ground. And, those are things that are pride of place buildings that you can drive by and say, wow, I've worked on that, and they'll be here for 100 years, 200 years. A gentleman at Notre Dame told me one day that they used to tell their trustees that they built buildings for 100 years, to last 100 years. And he said, I had to change that, because quite frankly, we build buildings to last a lifetime now. And as long as they're maintained, they will last forever. The pride of working on something like that, that's outstanding.
And it's also why going through building trades, like even maintenance is such an important job. But if you know a little bit of everything, if you're one of those people who really likes to dabble in carpentry and electric and all that, being a maintenance, running a facility is also really important work. And it's almost like you can use all those skills. So if you're a person who has multiple interests and not comfortable really specializing, or start out specializing and gain a lot of interest, I feel like that could be a great spot for somebody to move into, where you're like taking care of your building. That could be also a great opportunity.
Yep.
So I'm going to go to Scott. We have about 5 minutes left. Oh wait, we have a question. Is there some sort of skill aptitude testing offered by any of the local unions to help guide potential workers into the right field?
We have, when the students apply to the training center for apprenticeship, they they do a little bit of a skills test, just kind of assess where they're at with their knowledge. But a lot of it, we rely on building trades and stuff in schools if they want to get started that way. But they can start with us just by applying through the apprenticeship and taking a test and seeing if it's going to work for them. And they can try it out in a pre-apprenticeship and, you know, go out and work for a while and see if that's what they want to do. So yeah, there's all different angles to get involved in the apprenticeship.
I'd say too, I've seen other skill assessment kind of things or interest assessments. And I think I'm not going to get this right. Allison can help me maybe put this in the chat. Like there's Build Your Future, Indiana. There are a few different, oh, there you go. Looking like magic. I was right. Build Your Future, Indiana. They have a career quiz. And there's another one. It's called So Can You, but it's SOKANU. That is really interesting. It's a multitude of careers, but it tells you kind of even points you in the direction of trades or where you might fit or what your interests are, which is just a fun general one to do that I would recommend. And I think I saw another question. Oh yeah. Oh, the question, what's the highest paying upcoming job?
I'll jump in a little bit on that one. So there are different, of the 17 different construction trades that we talked about, there are different pay scales in all of those. Some of them, if you're willing to work and work some overtime, you can make six figures. You can make over $100,000 a year in a construction trade. I think that supports your family pretty well, honestly, and you don't have the debt of college to do it. So I would say that's probably on the higher end. And then, you know, but again, you're looking at probably $50,000 to $100,000 a year for a construction trade. Office jobs, probably similar really in pay, and a lot of pathways through construction, whether you go into the office or into the field, can end up at ownership of a construction company. There's a lot of times that's the thing. And there's many different pathways to that. And obviously there's even more money to be made if you're in the ownership of a company.
Yeah, and one of the things that I make a point of, we talk a lot in our region and across the country, I think, about entrepreneurship, and that's the hot thing. And I think building trades is a really great opportunity, like a skills-based entrepreneurship opportunity. When you master a skill and you're really good at it and also are a well-rounded individual, you have an opportunity if you wanted to go start your own home building company, or you want to start your own paving company, or, you know, whatever you want to do, project management company. You could do those things if you have that gumption and you have that entrepreneurial spirit. Having an actual skill you can use, you know, I think would be an amazing opportunity for young people to make that their dream, is to move forward and learn everything you can and then go start your own thing. If you really want to lead and be your own boss, there's always that opportunity.
Absolutely.
I'd like just to throw a little bit in about us as an organization, as the Carpenters. There's no debt for education in the apprenticeship. So our contractors in that, they pay into your pension, your annuity, your health insurance, all those things are paid for by the contractor. So you're getting vision, dental, you're getting all your education, you're getting a nice annuity and a pension. If you do 30 years and age 55 in the Carpenters, you can draw your pension at 55, which is 10 years sooner than 65. And it's a great opportunity. There's a ton of work out there coming up, and we need people in the community to help get these projects done. So now's the time. That's
great. And I think you kind of answered this question. Should I encourage others to join building trades? I think Scott just did. So, and I do. I think there are so many opportunities, and it's always worth exploring. And it is 9:30, my clock says. I really appreciate Shawn and Scott being here this morning for our kickoff industry chat for Building Trades Week 2022. So thanks to you. Thanks to the attending students and educators. We had a great audience for this one. It's always hard to tell by the count. Some of these are classes and some are individual students. So we don't really know how many of you are out there, but so happy to have you here. We really appreciate it. And we want to thank you you have lots of opportunities to learn from others. These industry chats are all being recorded and will be posted on the Building Trades landing page. So also, if you wanted to share this with parents, friends, this is a great opportunity even for people who may not have gone straight into an apprenticeship or into building trades out of high school, but if they're looking for a career change or to re-enter, to just explore the options in building trades. So I would encourage you to share this with friends and family and let them know that there are ways to get involved. So any closing words, Scott and Shawn?
Thank you for inviting us today. The Carpenters really appreciate it. For all you guys and girls out there that are interested in a career at the Carpenters, check us out at ikorcc.com. Get a hold of the local here at 413 in South Bend, and we'll talk about developing a career for you and starting a great opportunity. I also wanted to touch that you will receive a 2-year associate's degree from Ivy Tech also when you complete our program. But thank you, Kate and Shawn, for asking me to be a part of this today.
Thanks, Scott. Shawn?
I think Scott said enough. I'm happy to have been here. And if you've got any questions, reach out to me, reach out to Scott, reach out to Kate, reach out to anybody. Just start.
And Allison Herzig, who is in the background, she's that square that you might see on your screen. SBRC has been, she's put all this together, and I'm just like the moderator for this. So shout out to Allison for that. And she's a great one to contact too. She has lots of information as well. So thanks everybody. Have a great day and stay warm.